Stanford is a perfect 4-0. As the higher seed, the number 3 seed, the Stanford Cardinal will be designated as the home team. And there's Catherine Plummer, 26 kills on Thursday night. She carries a huge load and puts away a lot of tough balls. She's like a running back. When it's 4th and 1, they give the ball to Catherine Plummer.
That was an example of such a tough play. Stanford, not a good pass. Plummer cleans up.
Plummer's averaging almost 7 kills per set, hitting over 400, 2.5 digs per set in the tournament so far. Those are unheard of numbers for an outside hitter. That ball tucked nicely inside. Best 3 out of 5 sets. First 4 sets to 25 points. If we get to a 15-point tiebreaker, it'll be played to 15. The challenge system, of course, is in effect, and going back to serve could be a key. Izzy Ashburn, 5'11" freshman out of Dayton, Minnesota, and led the Big Ten Conference in aces with 45. We saw her in Madison last week, and both of us jaws dropped when she served the ball for the first time. McClure handles it well. Transition is vitally important for both teams. Haggerty's first swing. Plummer out of the middle. Retke there to slow it down. Number 16 in red. Good touch by Retke. Boy, going away from Catherine Plummer a lot here. Holly Campbell, 6'3", sophomore out of Austin, Texas, able to put down the soft shot, Karch.
Yeah, and Wisconsin had a number of swings on that play, Paul. The best one they had in that rally, they got the ball to Plummer and they pulled her almost onto the floor, way into the court. They can't give easy ones to Morgan Hentz.
Something really important to look for on the side of Wisconsin. I'll get to that in just a moment. Overpass. Campbell able to snap that ball down, and Tiffany Clark can't come up with it. Molly Haggerty, the 6'1" redshirt junior from Glen Ellen, Illinois, had 15 kills in the semifinals in their 3-1 victory over Baylor. Speaking with Coach Kelly Sheffield early this morning, she woke up with a virus. She is not 100%, but you'll notice she wears number 23. Out of Chicago, a big Michael Jordan fan, and she remembers well the flu that he played with against the Utah Jazz. She wouldn't miss this for anything with everything she's gone through in the back surgeries. Good defense so far, particularly for Stanford, and another very tough swing. For number 2, Catherine Plummer, twice the National Player of the Year, now a senior. 113 kills, 19 blocks, 42 digs coming in to this final.
If she hadn't been injured so long this season, she would have been eligible for another award and I think been one of the front runners. The actual winner, Yossi Presley, great season for Baylor, but Plummer wasn't even eligible.
That's a good sign for Wisconsin. First kill for Haggerty after 3 or 4 attempts.
Yeah, you don't beat Morgan Hentz cross court very often with heat. She does a really nice job of keeping that ball high on her team's side of the net.
Here is Haggerty.
What
nice pass. Good serve. Absolutely the combination thereof. Haggerty a dig right on target. What a set. Morgan Hentz just dropping a dime to Catherine Plummer, who tucks it down the line. Let's take a look at 2 outstanding coaches. Kevin Hambly in his 3rd year at Stanford. He's only won 93 matches, but lost 9. What's going on there? National championship last year when his Cardinal defeated Nebraska. And Kelly Sheffield in his 7th year, voted by the media as the Big Ten Coach of the Year. That's a beautiful swing off the right side by Dana Retke, a really unique player, Karch, at 6'8", the junior out of Riverside, Illinois.
Yeah, and they love that matchup because McClure, Megan McClure, the outside hitter and left side blocker for Stanford, is only 6 feet. So you got an 8-inch difference. They're going to run that a lot, Retke at McClure, when they have that.
Retke's averaging 4 kills per set, hitting over 415. Nice play by McClure. Off the block and down the sideline. Very, very intelligent play, and all she did was receive the Ace 90 award by the NCAA for the most outstanding student at the final in the national semifinals. 3.965.
And she plays her well for Stanford so well.
What a play by Morgan Hentz. Nobody else in the college game makes that dig. Both teams looking pretty comfortable. They're thinking, they're moving the ball around, and their first ball contact. How would you describe the level so far?
So far, I'm really impressed. Watch this up by Hentz. She stays on her feet to begin the play, unlike some defenders who will go to their knee, and that allowed her to explode after that ball.
Perfect pass, but tight. Beautifully saved. Block into the cross court against Fitzmaurice. Ripped out of the back row. That ball's down. It went off of Emmy Dodge in area number 6, the middle back, and then contacted the floor. Catherine Plummer was superb out of the backcourt in their semifinal, a relatively easy win against Minnesota, the 7 seeds.
And she likes to face to her left and then hit what you would call that thumb down ball. She's already crushed one from the right side and crushed one from the backcourt.
Took 51 swings in only 3 sets, and they were not that long. Good block touch.
That's it.
Plummer again out of the back row. That one is dug by Wisconsin and kept alive. That was outside the antenna. Really good work by the linesman, working down the sideline to get a good angle. That ball has got to come completely inside the antenna.
Yeah, and if Wisconsin doesn't have a swing, Paul, they can't give an easy play to Stanford. They have to tip it to Plummer, get her on the floor so she's out of transition.
There is Kate Formico, who really has improved and given some valuable serving and defense to Stanford. Duello and Loberg struggled the other night relative to what they've done all season. You look at their season numbers between them. Madison Duello and Grace Loberg average about 6 kills, hit about 262, but against Baylor in what was, after the opening set, a pretty easy win for the Badgers. They were only 12 for 51.
And if you look at the tournament, Duello is down about 80 points from her normal hitting efficiency. Loberg also down to about 200. Good way to just try to allow your team, as Coach Kelly Sheffield is, allow his team, the Badgers, to regroup.
Call will stand, point will stand. Stanford with a quick 5-point advantage, and good serve down the line by Formico.
That's what you have to do. If you can't kill it, got to get it to Plummer.
Madeline Gates, who is on a tournament record pace for efficiency, just putting up unbelievable numbers. She has yet to commit a hitting error in the tournament, let alone the semifinals and now the finals. Timeout is called by Wisconsin. Stanford going for number 2 in a row and 9 overall with a big early lead. Back in Pittsburgh at PPG Paints Arena, national finals. Stanford up to a quick early lead coming out of the Wisconsin timeout. What have you seen from both teams early that people should be looking for?
Stanford defending the Wisconsin offense so well and also exerting more service pressure. So Wisconsin really having trouble finding kills. Another easy dig for Stanford.
And Jenna Gray is getting to set every ball in transition. Good block touch again, this time by Gates and on transition. And that is number 15's first hitting error of the tournament in 65 swings. She was on a record pace, 36 kills of 63 swings, 0 errors, hitting .571.
And what a great story for her, graduating in 3 years from UCLA, applying without telling anybody with the Stanford volleyball program that she applied to their grad school, wanting to get her master's in statistics. She got accepted, and then they started talking. And she's playing as a walk-on. They didn't even have a scholarship free for her.
And she's in graduate school. What does it cost to go to graduate school at Stanford?
I think Coach Hamley was guessing a cool $80,000 a year. What a great story. And almost a perfect attack tournament until that first error.
That ball is served out of bounds. You couldn't write a better script for the Stanford Cardinal. Megan McClure as well is hitting very, very efficiently, and she, like Catherine Plummer, not to the same degree, gets a number of difficult chances. And Tiffany Clark has been superb. 5'11" senior out of Naperville, Illinois, had 18 digs against Baylor in the semifinals. Really top libero. Stanford is passing lights out. Sydney Hilly read that like a book. What a dig by Morgan Hentz, but Stanford unable to keep that ball alive. That's something that Kelly Sheffield talked about a lot in serve and pass this morning, was being ready for the tip out of the play of Jenna Gray.
Yeah, and you said it, Paul. Sydney Hilly, who normally plays right back defense, read that and made an easy play for her team.
They got to get off McClure. She is passing the ball perfectly. Do you do that within a set, within a couple of rotations? If somebody looks really comfortable receiving, will you immediately go someplace else?
McClure is looking particularly comfortable. She might on paper be the target, but her history, a senior, she's been in the NCAA semifinals 4 times, the finals 3 times. Probably got to try some other people.
Tough swing for Haggerty. That ball bounced off the top of the tape and handcuffed Catherine Plummer. Plummer already with 5 kills on 8 swings, no errors. Stanford in the opening set hitting .429, 10 of 21, 1 error. Wisconsin only 190. Wisconsin hits .290 as an average on the year, as Ashburn will come on to serve again. Kind of an interesting role. Ashburn is like a relief pitcher. She just comes in and serves, and then she doesn't even participate. She'll play defense, but she will not come in and pass.
And that was a tough serve.
What a swing by Plummer again.
I've been so impressed, though, the good Wisconsin serves that have been crossing the net by only a few inches. Morgan Hentz has made spectacular moves. Is that a perfect pass? No, but that was a near ace. And it keeps the ball alive, and when you have Plummer to take the swing, all you have to do is make sure you don't get aced.
Kelly Sheffield said to his team at practice earlier today, look, I want us to serve hard, flat, and with lots of movement. I don't care who it goes to, but I'll tell you what, Wisconsin is, like most of the elite teams in the Big Ten, a superb serving team, but Stanford's dealing right now in first contact. That ball hit out of bounds, and a big lead for the Cardinal, 14-8.
Yeah, lots of props to Formico, Hentz, McClure. They've got a solid passing core on the Stanford side. There's a good pass for Wisconsin.
On the slide, and that ball hammered through by Dana Retke, who is a remarkable athlete. She was a dancer as a child, and credits that 13-year experience for her lateral movement. Most players over 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", and there have been several, particularly internationally. They play out on the wings. They're not in the middle moving laterally like she can. Another good pass. That ball set tight. That's going to be a net violation called against Jenna Gray. They changed the call. They have not given it to Gray. They gave that to Adriana Fitzmaurice. In either case, a much needed point for Wisconsin. 14-10, plenty of time in this opening set.
And that's something Wisconsin also wants to do. Serve Plummer, make her carry a heavier load, more responsibility.
Loberg is rejected off the left side. Plummer along with 6'3" sophomore Holly Campbell. Stanford blocked 8 balls against Minnesota in the opening set on Thursday night. That was really a dominating performance.
Yeah, and they're well over their season average in the NCAA tournament. Again, that experience factor coming through.
Well, we talk about middles a lot with blocking, but Adriana Fitzmaurice and Catherine Plummer both average about a block per set, which is really a lot for an opposite, an oppo, and an outside hitter. That ball served over the sideline.
Yeah, 2 of the better, the stronger wing blockers that you're going to find.
Stanford got out to the quick 9-4 start. Timeout called by Wisconsin. Another tough serve, handled perfectly. Fitzmaurice again. Good soft block touch. And Wisconsin does not get a swing out of it. That's too easy. This free ball. And Wisconsin pays the price.
You know, 2 nights ago, Paul, we saw a similar play, and Dana Retke would have turned and actually attacked that ball. But her counterpart, who's having a great season, Danielle Hart, gave it just so easily to Stanford that they're running the easiest offense, in-system offense possible.
Once again, Stanford really good within the rallies and in transition. They were superb the other night. Interesting note, we talked about Catherine Plummer, 26 kills. 21 of them came in transition. That is really, really tough swings against a well-formed block and defense.
And just to explain, transition is everything but this play. Here's what we would call a first ball play. Receive the serve, and there's not even a first ball swing on that. But any play that goes on, this is transition offense, continuation offense.
This would be a big win point-wise for Stanford. Wow. Stanford, and a fist pump from Kevin Hambley, the head coach on the sideline. Stanford was in a world of hurt.
The other night, they were much better in transition than in first ball, first serve receive offense. And here's another example. McClure putting it high, getting off the net, and then taking a great cross-court swing. Stanford well over 300 in transition offense.
McClure and Plummer are 10 of 15 with no errors. That's an important kill out of the middle by number 14, second team all Big Tenner Madison Duello, 6'3" redshirt senior out of Kansas City, Missouri. Both she and Loberg, as we talked about the other night, as good as Wisconsin was, they were only 12 of 51. And that can't happen again if Wisconsin wants to be in this match. Here is defensive specialist Lauren Barnes. Interesting story as she serves that ball out of bounds, and people have heard it before. She transferred from Minnesota last year. She played in 31 matches, and here she is starting for Wisconsin.
Within the conference.
Yeah.
And it used to be that you had to sit out a year if you were going to transfer to another school in your conference. That appears to be changing.
That's going to be a back row attacker. Sydney Hilly is in the backcourt here above the plane of the net. Ball crossed and automatically a violation. The lead is back up to 6 at 19-13. It's been all Stanford so far in this opening set. And Wisconsin will use their second and final timeout of this opening. One for now, but as always, UConn, maybe Baylor will have something to say about that. Holly, what have you got?
Well, that Stanford basketball team, you can see the big Longhorn on the floor. They play on ESPN2 tomorrow at Texas. They are the #1 team in the country, undefeated so far this season. And I love it because they have such an infusion of top recruits, one of the #1 recruiting class in America. A lot of freshmen contributing to that Stanford volleyball team. Remember when this Stanford volleyball team, all those freshmen came in? That's what they've got going on in basketball right now. I love that they're all supporting each other.
Thank you, Holly. 19-13. Back to serve is Megan McClure. Again, 4 of 5 so far attacking with no errors. Stanford block and defense is everywhere right now. Nice play by Formico, right on target. That ball is alive, but free ball coming to the Cardinal. Madeline Gates again. Gates hammering that ball to the floor, hitting a cool 571 in the tournament. Unbelievable performance.
Great up by Hilly, but it is not enough. The Wisconsin offense having a great deal of trouble. First of all, controlling the serves of Stanford, and then just getting it past their block.
Dana Retke has 3 kills on 6 attempts, but the rest of the team for Wisconsin is hitting 0. Nice dig in the middle back by Barnes. But Duello cannot keep that ball alive, and Stanford continues to roll.
And remember what started this whole thing for Stanford 3 years ago, the regional final in Wisconsin. Wisconsin goes up 2-0. They go back into the locker room with their first team All-American, Inkia Joniku, and she implores these freshmen, just said, look, you got to start believing in yourself. You are capable of this. They storm back. They keep their tournament alive. They win, and here they are on the verge of 3 titles in 4 years.
Broke the hearts of Lauren Carlini, the All-American there, and now part of your Olympic team, Karch, and thousands of Wisconsin fans as Inky and the Inkettes, then freshman Catherine Plummer, Jenna Gray, Morgan Hentz, etc., just went on to have a phenomenal tournament.
Yep, and those 4, each in different positions, so they can contribute in so many ways. A setter senior, an outside, an opposite, and a libero.
That ball tipped over the top. Gates is she is just golden right now, whether attacking with heat or finding something around the block. Sydney Wilson, 6-foot junior out of Toronto, will come on to serve. Stanford 22-14. Stanford is hitting 424 to 118 for Wisconsin. Ace serve. This is not the Wisconsin team, Karch, that we've seen throughout the course of the season, particularly after they got off to the 4-4 start, and then they went 18-2 in the Big Ten, the nation's toughest conference. They are really struggling right now.
Yeah, and they had a huge reset early in the season, but their serve receive is getting broken down right now by the serving of Stanford.
Madison Duello able to pull that ball down inside the block. Her 3rd kill on 5 swings. She's being productive like Retke as she heads to the sideline.
But when you have Dana Retke in the front row and you can't set her the ball because you just can't control the opponent's serve, it's hurting Wisconsin offense huge.
Here is Ashburn. Wisconsin needs her to run off a couple of points. They're probably not going to win this opening set, but they need some momentum.
Nice save. Look for Retke.
Retke on the slide, able to hammer that ball to the floor. Look, Karch, you've been behind in a lot of sets as a player and a coach, but even though if you think it's going to be gone, you still have an opportunity to find something that can carry over.
Absolutely, even if you don't win this, and part of it is what can Wisconsin do? Ashburn hit another great serve, and that one finally, hence, wasn't able to control.
Jenna Gray injured herself along the sideline. There's some blood on Gray's hand as she went over into the scorer's table to retrieve that ball. Doesn't look like she's in too much pain. Nice big smile on the senior's face. 6'1" senior out of Shawnee, Kansas.
Yeah, nice hustle, but you see her put her right hand down there. We don't know what she put it on, but certainly whatever it caused, they're going to wrap up quickly. They'll get time for that.
Stanford 29-4 on the year, 18-2 in the conference. You talked about Catherine Plummer. She was completely shut down from September 29th until November 7th. Missed 10 matches, and since she's come back, first match was slow. They only let her play back row and serve, but after that, she has been torching the opponent.
And it wasn't even what we've heard from other coaches, a lower extremity injury. They kept it top secret. We don't know. It could include the head. We don't know. But when she came back, Coach Hambly gave her so much credit. He said she is by far playing the best volleyball he's ever seen.
Here is Ashburn again. Tough serve, but just out of bounds. Yeah, we joked the other night during the semifinal. Look, we asked everybody with the Stanford team, their medical staff, coaches, you name it, and they kept that so secret. I mentioned that they keep secrets better than the CIA. Set points now for Gray. No worse for wear. She'll come on to serve.
And this is Stanford's strongest blocking lineup. Fitzmaurice on the right, Plummer on the left. A couple of imposing wing blockers.
Haggerty going to have to take a tough swing against that block. Good touch by Hentz. And Fitzmaurice, the ball was dug, but Ashburn was on the floor as well and could not recover. Wow. Stanford has been flawless throughout the course of this tournament, and even the ESPN app. Back with three-time Olympic champion Karch Kirai. I'm Paul Sunderland. All Stanford in the opening set hit 441 against one of the better block and defensive teams in the country. Remember, that's just their second set loss. They lost the opening set the other night to Yaziana Presley and Baylor, the #1 seeds, 27-25, and then after that came back to take control. But the opponent tonight, a little bit different.
And one of the differences, Paul, when you pass, when your team is receiving serve, and you put it in a good place, and you do that, 55-60% of the time, you're doing very well. Stanford was at only 40%, but they have Catherine Plummer to clean up. And so in that situation, they were hitting about 500, even off poor pass.
500, 11 kills in transition. A lot of those coming, of course, from Plummer, just like in their semifinal against Minnesota. Wisconsin's got to find a passing rhythm, hence all over that. Gates, not a good decision. She's either got to crack that or pass it to one of her teammates.
Yes, that was weak sauce.
First weak sauce of the weekend. It took us a while. Plummer. That ball right on the sideline. Holly Rowe, what do you got?
Well, after a disappointing first set, Kelly Sheffield gathered his team and he was talking to them about Stanford hitting out of system. He said, look, they are not passing great, but they are playing very well out of system. That's what we do best, is we get under that kind of stuff. He's really imploring his defense to get under that stuff out of system. Be ready for what they're bringing in. Blockers make better contact at the net.
Good reach by Gates, and then that ball through the seam. Another dig by Hentz, who had 23 in 3 sets on Thursday night, and that ball goes to the floor. We have not seen this from Wisconsin, Karch. There for the tip, 2 players going, stopping. They are really out of sorts right now.
Yeah, they're getting surprised by her off-speed shot, and it's a good one because she gets her arm back and ready to attack. But the other thing they're surprised by is that she hits that wrist away, that thumb down shot. So Haggerty was fooled by that the play before.
Dana Retke meeting her match this time. 6'6" Catherine Plummer with a stuff block on the outside. Remember, Plummer had 5 stuff blocks on her own against Minnesota in the opening set, and a quick start here for Stanford. McClure doing a good job at the service line as well as attacking, leading the way. 4-5. She misses that out of bounds. Catherine Plummer has now 9 kills on 15 swings. McClure with 4, Gates with 3, and Holly Campbell with 2. Adriana Fitzmaurice still a little bit quiet, 1 of 6. Here is Izzy Ashburn once again. That is really a tough serve.
But a good set.
Look at Plummer. Are you kidding me? She coming right over the top of her head, and she still put that ball away.
The numbers we're seeing on this broken play, Stanford is way better than when they don't have the broken play. And this is not well defended by Wisconsin. Their line digger steps up, anticipating the block taking that. But when the block doesn't take line, it's an easy kill for Plummer.
Not surprised the defender came in to cover tip, because there's nobody else in the country that can hit that shot except for Plummer. And on the wrist away here. Catherine Plummer is just lighting up Wisconsin right now. Plummer in double figures already with 11 kills.
This is such, first of all, a great defensive play, but this is such a difficult swing to take, Paul, because it's coming from behind you. You can't even see the block. Plummer still gets it to the floor blind.
Molly Haggerty, number 23, able to find a small seam. We'll give you her numbers. Haggerty with 3 kills now on 12 swings. Dana Retke is 4 of 9. Wisconsin on the match, hitting 133. Stanford almost 500. Lots of time. Remember, Wisconsin is the team that won 18-2 in the country's best conference, the Big Ten. That ball drifts out of bounds. And they played the toughest schedule. There are 14 teams in the Big Ten. They played all the top teams, Minnesota, Penn State, Nebraska, all of the top teams twice, and still came out with the best record.
Yep, the Big Ten sent the most teams to the tournament, but don't forget that Stanford, when Plummer was healthy, played an incredibly tough preseason, won almost all of those, and that was part of Coach Kevin Hambley's plan. Is we've got to throw the very best in the country at this team. We've got a lot of good players coming back, and got to have them prepped for the postseason tournament.
Nice dig by Clark. Fitzmaurice still looking to get on track. Hence again, and right there is Retke for the two-handed slam dink.
Stanford's leaving. Watch on your left here. Hence has the complete half of the court, maybe even more. But the other 2 defenders cover the right half of the court while she covers the left.
Well, there's a rule in Stanford's gym about defense. Adriana Fitzmaurice, 6'6" senior out of Overland Park, Kansas, and back to Morgan Hence. If you're playing middle back for Stanford, you never go to your left. No matter what you're thinking, do not turn left. Plummer back at the line. Stanford won the opening set easily, 25-16 on top already early, 7-3. Big block again. Holly Campbell, the sophomore out of Texas, Pac-12 freshman team a year ago. And remember, she lit it up in the national semifinals and finals in particular last year in the finals. She was 15 of 29 with only 1 error. They don't go to her a lot, but she can get the job done blocking. 3 blocks now and an ace serve down the line, working on Emmy Dodge. Wisconsin's reception is really broken down. 3 blocks for Stanford, none so far for Wisconsin.
And even though it's broken down, Wisconsin passing better. Their good pass percentage is at 45 versus 41 for Stanford.
Usually counterintuitive, but Wisconsin doesn't have NCAA.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. There is former outstanding Wisconsin head coach Barry Alvarez, and now their director of athletics. He knows just a little something about football. The Badgers having another wonderful season in the Big Ten in football as well. Holly, what have you got?
It's a very busy week for Wisconsin athletics, because a lot of people focused on this national championship, but they will have to make a quick turnaround for the Badger football team, who is playing in the Rose Bowl. In fact, the quarterback Jack Cohn is dating one of the young ladies on this volleyball team, so he may be out there watching the offensive line, sending them a special message today. So a lot of busy Badgers this year, because they have been so good in championship moments.
Nice play by Wisconsin, a much needed score this time. by Danielle Hart. Hart, number 18, 6'4", redshirt sophomore out of Virginia Beach, hits at 316. Got off to a very slow start, Karch. Remember when we were in Madison last week? Tell us, first 10 matches she was hitting 220, which is really not good for a middle attacker. But the last 15 matches, and right on cue, the last 15 matches of the Big Ten season, she was hitting over 350.
We were looking at some of her swings, and we were thinking, was that Dana Redke or was that Danielle
On film,
Hart?
it looks a lot alike.
She's really developed at a nice rate throughout the course of this season. Been a big part of their Big Ten title.
Nice pass by Plummer. And McClure again. Tiffany Clark has been making that play defensively throughout the season, but did not make it tonight going to her left.
And across the net, Hens probably comes up with that play. That's another difference, is the higher defensive efficiency of Morgan Hens, who just hit that serve.
Clark has been outstanding. Danielle
Nice.
Hart slowed down here. Nice block touch. And they're going to net violation. Boy, Megan McClure now has 6 kills on 7 swings, no errors. Stanford is hitting 478 on the night. Wisconsin only 148.
You got to give McClure such credit. Remember, early in the season, they weren't sure if they wanted to play her full time. They were playing her in the back and Kendall Kipp in the front. Then Plummer gets injured. They bring McClure back in, and they realize, you know what, she is like the glue that holds this team together. Never hurts them, not going to cause them to lose, but just plays her role so well. Good ball control, low error. She doesn't terminate like Plummer, but she doesn't hurt him just like she did on that last swing.
Stanford leading 11-6. Beautiful kill by Grace Loberg, and a service winner. Lauren Barnes, who came into these national championships, the semifinals and finals, with 24 aces, adding to her total. Stunning. There's a lot of red and cardinal in the building. It's a little hard to tell them apart. Tough serve again. McClure looking high flat. Clark might have dug a ball that was out of bounds.
Oh, Haggerty's got to jump and hit that. You can't stand and put it over with your forearms when you're 3 feet from the net.
Beautiful swing. Fitzmaurice now starting to feel it, finding some rhythm for this championship match. He'll head to the slide line.
And watch, you might be able to get away against a different team with giving them a free ball, but against Stanford, no way. You've got to jump, get off the ground, and hit the ball downward.
Beautiful pass. What a saving pass by Barnes. That ball looked like it was going to drop right off the edge of the table. And Danielle Hart, a nice trip across the front row for number 18. And now Dana Redke comes in for Wisconsin, trailing by 4.
Yeah, Hart hitting over 400.
But as a team, once again, Wisconsin under 200, just needs a lot more help, and Wisconsin has not been good from the service line so far. Look at that. 115 points below. They were 5th ranked offense in the country. And that's against an awful lot of good Big Ten opponents. Redke off the top of the block and down. Redke now with 6 kills on 11 swings. She's having a nice night, but not enough attempts.
Yep, they're not passing well enough right now. Their passing percentages, their good passing percentages going up. Just got up above 50%. That means you can set your middles more.
Redke took 31 swings in 4 sets on Thursday night against Baylor. Nice stab by Redke. Not a lot of middle blockers will make that play. But again, they don't get a swing.
Another no swing.
Off the block and out of bounds. Boy, Jenna Gray, Pac-12 Setter of the Year for the 3rd year in a row. First team All-American for the 3rd year in a row. She's having the easiest night in the world. She's just walking up, clapping her hands, and the ball is perfect.
And it's not just Plummer, but all the Stanford hitters are doing a really nice job with. They don't terminate. It's almost a point because it's causing so much trouble. They get the ball back easier, and Plummer winning the battle against Redke again at the net. 2 premier college players battling.
Catherine Plummer working against Redke. Maybe they'll be Olympic teammates one day. Maybe sooner rather than later, but that is 2 stuffed blocks now for Plummer on Redke.
Yeah, if Stanford goes on to win this match, Redke's going to be happy to have Plummer on her side of the net more than the opposite side.
Both Redke and Coach Kelly Sheffield thought that there might have been a touch, but remember, he used one challenge early, so he's got to be very judicious. Instead, he won't challenge. Wisconsin will call timeout. Stanford in the championship up 1-0, and 16-9 here in the second.
They're actually not getting outplayed in the reception phase, but they sure are in terms of as the play continues. They're getting almost no swings when the ball comes up on their side of the net. We call that transition. Their middles are getting kills, but the rest of the team almost zero when you take those 6 errors away from the 8 kills. So they can't get any production when the play's a little broken. Meanwhile, Stanford's the people who take care of broken plays. Plummer, McClure, Fitzmaurice having great success.
Very nice deep serve by Sydney Wilson, and a tough swing off the edge of the block and down for Molly Haggerty. And once again, told at practice this morning, Haggerty was there, but she did not participate. Bundled up, got up this morning with a virus and fighting through that. Haggerty had 15 kills and 9 digs on Thursday night against Baylor. Catherine Plummer again. Wow. Out of system, first ball side out.
And again, I think the players for Wisconsin, yes, she has a cannon of an arm, but they're getting fooled because when she hits it at you, you think it's coming center, maybe at the center of your body, and it goes to your left. That time, Clark again fooled by the wrist away power of Catherine Plummer.
Plummer now with 12 kills, 19 swings, no errors. Error meaning you're blocked or hit a ball out of bounds. Nice response by Loberg. Should Wisconsin be doing something different in terms of positioning their block against Plummer in particular?
I'm sorry, say that again, Paul.
Should Wisconsin be doing something differently in terms of positioning their block, particularly against Plummer?
Absolutely. They're going to have to. We saw one play where they were going to try and shut down the line and run somebody up to catch the off-speed shot that she hides so well. So they're going to have better coordination between the 2 blockers at the net and the 4 defenders on the floor.
Fitzmaurice now with 4 kills on 11, starting to heat it up a little bit. Found a nice rhythm towards the end of that opening set. Good shot up into the block, restart the point. Wisconsin has got to convert these kind of rallies. They're not doing enough in transition.
Oh.
And Tiffany Clark again, who has been superb at the libero. Just maybe a little bit jittery, making mistakes on her ball handling that she hadn't made in a long time.
She was phenomenal a week ago in Madison against Nebraska, but this is an easy deflection play. Instead, she sends it over. What she has to do is keep it on her side of the net, probably 8 feet off and high. Let her setter have time.
That ball is stuffed. Holly Campbell along with Fitzmaurice. Fitzmaurice at 6'6". Really a good wing blocker.
Yeah, one of the best in the country. And when she and Plummer at the net.
Whew. And the middles aren't bad either. Campbell along with Gates. Stanford's blocking about 3.5 balls per set, way above their season average, but so is Wisconsin.
Easy play for transition.
McClure high up into the block. Good hustle that time by Plummer. Making Hilly touch the first ball. Plummer out of the back row and missed it wide. That is the first hitting error of the night for Catherine Plummer on her 20th swing.
Hitting only .550. Unbelievable.
What are we going to do about her? Tough serve. And that's a shank pass against Plummer. One of the other things that Wisconsin was working on at their practice this morning, their shoot around, if you will, in basketball terminology. They wanted to serve area 1. That's the service area in the right back. And that's where Sydney Hilly is going right now after Plummer.
Yeah, and you could do it by serving cross court, or you can do it by serving down the line. Hilly finding some success, causing trouble.
Fitzmaurice is blocked. Hart with some help from Loberg on the outside. That is the first scoring block for Wisconsin. Play by Hintz, cutting off Plummer. That was really well done. Clark with the dig. Not a swing. No swing in transition. Plummer again and missed it out of bounds. Boy, that was a radical thumbs down, wrist away, and Plummer ran out of real estate. And a timeout is called by Stanford. Signs of hope, signs of life from the Gophers of Wisconsin. Dana Retke so far in the match, 6 of 13. She has
riding a bike. I've been told tap dancing, riding a bike, it all comes back. But it's so fun to see her move with such athleticism, such power, and such finesse at the net at 6'8".
She has had a remarkable career so far, and she still has a year to go. There you see some of the specifics. And going back to the 2017 National Freshman of the Year award, she was also a first-team All-American. Kelly Sheffield told us last week in Madison that there was some discussion and some thought about redshirting her first year. Let's clear that up.
And she was actually receiving her award at the end of the season, her Freshman of the Year award at the Players Banquet. She said, I didn't even know if I was going to play this year.
Let's clean something else up as well. I apologize. I said Gophers going into that timeout. Well, they're not here anymore. They played on Thursday night. Of course, these are the very proud Badgers. Nice dig by Dodge. Doesn't Wisconsin have to somehow create a swing out of that? And they pay the price again. Fitzmaurice is really starting to find a hot hand.
Yeah, Paul, we saw this the other night when Stanford just dismantled Minnesota. When the ball stays in play, when it's not a kill off Stanford's first swing, it rarely comes back at them with a swing. It's often a free ball, and then they have more transition offense. Here's another example of transition offense, but this time Wisconsin does get a swing.
Quality swing by Duello. Doug and Morgan Hintz able to track that down. A rare free ball. Clark is all over it. Hard to get the ball over Catherine Plummer at 6'6". Tipping out of the back court. Hilly is there with a pancake.
But no swing for Wisconsin.
And into the deep cross court corner. That ball missed just out of bounds. And here comes Wisconsin.
Great hustle by Hilly. She has to do a lot. When Plummer's hitting out of the back court, Hilly has to be responsible for the hard-driven ball and the soft shot, and that's why she resorted to that emergency move of the pancake.
Is the serving better right now in this phase of the match from Wisconsin?
I think it is. They have Stanford at a good passing percentage of less than 40%.
Transition swing up into the block. Good cover. Nice hard work that time by #1 Barnes.
Way to take Plummer out of that transition play by Clark.
Got to keep that ball on your side of the net. Tiffany Clark in the libero jersey. Working hard, playing hard, but got to dig that ball at the 3-meter line.
Well, and as a coach, it's frustrating because you see her. Clark is going to put herself exactly where she needs to be. She makes a great read. That's great anticipation. But then the touch doesn't stay on her team's side of the net.
Good pass again by Wisconsin, but a better block. Megan McClure, who is a player you want to go after. She's only a 6-foot outside hitter out of Rancho Santa Margarita, but having the match of her life here in one of the biggest moments of her career.
Yep, lining up perfectly on this block. We would say that she'd be putting her outside hand on the ball, her left hand on the ball, leaving the hitter just a little bit of line to hit.
Wisconsin trailing by 7. Good swing down inside once again by Haggerty, who seems to be showing no signs of an early morning illness. But it's 23-17. It's been all Stanford. Hitting .362 on the match, whereas Wisconsin hitting only .132. 21 of 76. Stanford is 31 of 69. Stanford also has 6 blocks compared to only 1, and significantly more digs, and now it is set point Stanford 24-17. Stanford has 36 digs already, 13 of them by Morgan Hintz. Remember, she had 23, tied an all-time record in a 3-set match on Thursday night. Good pass. Jenna Gray with a nice block touch. And Gates down the line. Wow. Interesting choice. You had Catherine Plummer out on the left looking like she was going to be one-on-one. But Madeline Gates just having a phenomenal tournament. She's only hitting 500 now. Stanford as a team is hitting 371. Let's go to Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach Hambly off to a dominant start in this match. What do you think has been the most important reason for that?
Our defense. I think we've done a really nice job of digging balls and transitioning. I think our blocks picking up their offense, which is tough. We still haven't figured out Dana Redke, but I think in general we've been able to get them off the net enough with our serving and then be able to defend.
Speaking of your transition, you've been able to get some really good kills out of transition. Why are you so good at that right now?
We work really hard on it, and we got good setting, and we got good defensive players. So we're trying to be a highly skilled team.
Of 11, that's what happened the other night. Even though they beat Baylor, that combo was only 12 of 51. Tonight, right now, they are 5 of 31.
Couple of shocking numbers, Paul. You want to pass well when the other team serves. And when you make a good pass, your setter doesn't have to move much. We mentioned it earlier. If you're doing well at that, you're hitting it, you're passing good or perfect in system in the high 50s. Wisconsin is doing that. They're far out passing Stanford, but Stanford is just so good at hitting those trouble sets that they're getting out of trouble. That you would never expect Stanford to win those two so decisively while losing the serve pass battle.
That was a perfect pass dialed up by McClure, and Madeline Gates in the NCAA tournament, 43 of 74, one error, hitting well above 575. Nice swing down the line. There is Grace Loberg with that kill, and in the intermission our Holly Rowe was able to catch up with Kelly Sheffield.
Coach Sheffield, I know you pride yourself on playing Badger volleyball, which means gritty. How can your team get back in this right now?
Man, I mean, we're winning the serve pass game, but we're having a tough time defending in the backcourt. It's Plummer, man, she's got to be the best non-All-American in the history of our sport. She's really doing a good job out of system and in transition. We've got to, we're going to change the matchups here and see if that helps us out a little bit.
What will you change with the matchup?
We'll start in row one. We'll get a little bit bigger block on her and see what happens.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, Holly.
That was another thing I wanted to note. Normally, Wisconsin wants to get Dana Redke at the net right away, but in this case, they've opted to change the matchups, get their pin hitters some better looks. But Hentz coming up with another dig, so Stanford gets more swings.
Smart shot into the block. That was a design tip up into the block by Plummer. Get the offensive rebound, restart the point. Nice play once again by Molly Haggerty into the cross court. Redke leading the way offensively, 6 kills on 13. Haggerty now takes over the lead, as a matter of fact, 7 kills, having another very nice night and a nice national championships, number 23 in red.
What a great line by Sheffield, the best non-All-American in the history of the game, and she is putting on a show.
They're getting to her, though, in serve receive. That could be a key. That ball right on the end line. And if you're wondering at home why Catherine Plummer was not an All-American this year, for the 4th time, mind you, she was first-team All-American freshman, sophomore, and junior year. When she missed those 10 matches, it meant that she did not play in a high enough percentage for Stanford in order to qualify for a ballot.
But that last play, indicative of this whole evening. Stanford didn't have a great pass. They set a good enough set to Adriana Fitzmaurice, and she kills it. They're having a phenomenal night with broken offense, having a great deal, and hitting for a very high efficiency.
Tied at 3, third set. Stanford won the opener 25-16, the second 25-17. And that's going to be an ace serve. Izzy Ashburn, the 5'11" freshman out of Dayton, Minnesota, adding to her total now with 47 aces, at 46 coming in. And look at Stanford. They beat Minnesota 25-19, 25-22, 25-22. They've been making this tournament look pretty easy so far. Nice dig by Barnes down the line, but can they get a quality swing? Haggerty up into the block. No, they cannot. Fitzmaurice along with Campbell.
Earlier in the match, we saw Plummer put this ball away. Again, this is really difficult. Haggerty is looking back at the ball. It's coming over, and she can't even see that block. That's why you often see stuffed blocks on such a difficult view, and that ball going out of bounds into the antenna. The ball cannot touch that.
Stanford takes the 5-4 lead. Blocking has been all Stanford. 7-1 against Wisconsin, and coming in the tournament, Wisconsin was one of the best and hottest blocking teams in the tournament. I'll give you those numbers in just a minute.
That's
Morris trying to track that down, and she does legally. That ball rule touched off the block, out to Haggerty, going off speed up into the block, offensive rebound. Haggerty again, nice swing down the line. She is having a really nice championships.
In that rally, Paul, we saw Retke getting 2 swings against McClure. That's one reason that Coach Sheffield changed the matchup so that he could get one of their primary offensive forces. And I can't remember, we talked about this before, it's unusual for a middle to lead your team in kills, but one way they're going to get Retke, or think they can get Retke going, is to have her hit against McClure.
That ball shanked out of bounds, and a lot of serves now going to Catherine Plummer, to a very positive effect for the Wisconsin Badgers. Yeah, Dana Retke has not taken anywhere near the most swings on the team. It's either Haggerty or Duello or Loberg, but she's got the most kills because she hits over 400. Nice kill into the cross court. Number 4 in white. Megan McClure now 7 kills on 14 swings, no errors, hitting 500. Error in volleyball attacking statistics, you get stuff straight down for a point on your side, or you hit the ball out of bounds.
And she's doubling her season efficiency. 242 on the season, 500 right now.
In the entire tournament, she only has 3 hitting errors. She's taken 95 swings. That ball nicely by Loberg. A little better offensive rhythm right now from Wisconsin.
Yep, I think the fact that Wisconsin changed those matchups, Loberg's having a little more success hitting against Jenna Gray at the net than against Fitzmaurice. And so they're seeing some more success out on the left side.
That ball missed out of bounds. The first hitting error of the night for McClure. Dana Retke had 3 aces the other night, dialed up a bullet right there, and it was beautifully handled by Morgan Hintz. And that ball drifts out of bounds, and that makes it 8-7. This is a very rare lead for Retke as she gives way to the libero, Tiffany Clark. In the opening set, Stanford got out 9-4. In the second set, they got out to a 16-9 lead. Were never really put under any pressure and cruised to the victory. Tough serve. Loberg going off speed. Plummer's out of the play.
That's what you want to do to cause trouble. Wisconsin finally earns itself a free ball back, but doesn't get a powerful swing. As opposed to that
would be described as a powerful swing. And keep an eye on Catherine Plummer. She went hard to the floor, and she's flexing her left knee. Remember, she missed 10 matches with an undisclosed and top secret, and I do mean top secret, injury. I think only her doctor knows, and that's patient-doctor confidentiality.
But boy, are they happy to get her back better than ever. And another thing she said, that in the meantime, her fitness, her nutrition, and her serving got better. It looks like everything got better with that rest.
Nice little scoring run for Plummer and Stanford, and they recapture the lead after trailing 8-6. Plummer now with 13 kills. Stanford is hitting .383. Stanford is not on a record pace as far as the overall tournament. I'll give you that number in a second. Easy dig. Gates into the cross court and tracked down.
Another free ball to Stanford.
Right side to Gates, going over the top. Hilly. And they do not get a good swing in transition. They just cannot get swings. But Catherine Plummer, wow, what a performance she is putting on. 10-8.
And I think the block for Wisconsin just giving too much space when on that very inside set. Plummer really good at taking those swings, even if she has to move 12 feet in, but then she has a lot of angle to hit at.
Well, that's why I asked you about Wisconsin's blocking positioning. About 80%, maybe more, seemingly, of the swings that she's taking. That ball missed out of the back court by Duello. Everything, not everything, but like I said, 80% from Catherine Plummer is thumb down, wrist away into the cross court, and a timeout called by Wisconsin. Stanford going for their 9th and well on their way. Very, very special and happy guests, I would presume.
Well, I'm here with Catherine Plummer's parents, and it has been such a long run for her, but how do you describe what you see from her tonight, really dominating?
She's got a smile on her face, Holly. It just makes the dad super proud that she's having fun, and that's what it's all about.
It really is interesting. She could have all the weight of the world on her shoulders, and yet she seems loose and enjoying this moment. Why do you think she's able to handle that pressure?
She just decided this is her senior year. This is her last match. Leave it all on the court. Last collegiate match. Take it. Do it.
It's so fun. She's got some great help around her. How would you describe the bond with these seniors here tonight?
There's 6 of them and then 7 with the addition of Madeline. They love each other. They've known each other for a long time prior to coming to Stanford, and then the fact that they got to play together was, I think, a dream come true for all of them. And they're taking they're taking the most advantage of it, and they're just, look at the smiles. That says it all.
It is really beautiful. All right, last thing before we let go. Mom, show them what your hat can do. Show me what your hat can do. This is not just a cardinal tree hat. This is a dancing hat as well. So the best parents right here. These are all American parents.
For the trees, baby!
Thank you.
Thanks, Holly. You know, Paul, we got to see Stanford the last time they lost. It was at UCLA. Plummer was still in the middle of a rehab, and talked to her dad afterward, and he was not concerned. He said, they're doing the right thing. She's going to have a long career after this. It's really important to get her at a good state of health, because once you go to post-college volleyball, you have to play 7 or 8 months professional, more in the summertime. And so he was very happy with her progress. Healthy.
137th match together for that group, and then add graduate transfer Madeline Gates from UCLA, and that is the group. Nice dig into the cross court by Formico. And Catherine Plummer again. And one other note of information on Catherine Plummer: she has finished school. She will walk, if you will, in graduation in June. But she met with 4 agents yesterday. She will be turning pro immediately, probably going over to Europe. And the question I have for you, Coach Kirai, by her leaving school early or finishing early, turning pro and getting international experience with a very different ball, does that put her in a better position to play for you in 2020?
Well, I don't know about 2020, but Catherine spent some time with us in 2019. We both aspired to have her come in 2018, but her team had a really important trip to Europe. Every college team gets to do that once every 4 years. So she's got a very bright future after college volleyball, both professionally and lots of opportunities for USA.
That ball into the antenna and out of bounds. It is Stanford 14, Wisconsin 13. Let's take a look at Wisconsin's numbers. They're still not getting it going offensively. 133 in the match, 143 in this particular set. Stanford still hitting well over 300. Mentioned that Stanford was hitting 372 in the tournament. Well, the record is out of reach. Russ Rose's team, Penn State, hit 422 in the tournament and went on to their first of 4 in a row in 2007. 422 in the tournament.
And another record, winning 4 straight. Players like Blair Brown and Ari Wilson got to go 24-0 in their NCAA career. 6 wins, 4 seasons.
At one time during that stretch, Penn State won 102 in a row. Tiffany Clark back to serve. Nice little offensive stretch here for Wisconsin to hang in, trailing 15-14. Outscored 50-33 in the first 2 sets. Plummer on the right side, missed that one. So a couple of hitting errors here in the third for Plummer. She's cooling off. That's her 31st swing, 17 kills, but a couple of errors in this particular set.
So Stanford changes. They had Plummer on the right. Now they pull her over into what we call a stack reception. 3 hitters all on the left side. Adriana Fitzmaurice is going to try and run across and hit a slide.
Perfect pass. Good block touch by Wisconsin. Can they transition? Not yet. But Jenna Gray handles the first ball. Oh, good block on the outside. Haggerty with a little bit of help from Retke, number 16. Timeout Stanford. Wisconsin back on top. And their fans, they're always into it, but they're into it now. Back with Karch Kirai, I'm Paul Sunderland. Really good crowd on hand. Pittsburgh has been a wonderful host. Next year, the national semifinals and finals will be back in Omaha, Nebraska. Here is Clark. And misses that serve into the net. We'll give you the serving numbers. That is 9 service errors for Wisconsin against 4 aces. Stanford 6 errors, 2 aces. But it's about much more than that. It's about continued, constant service pressure. On the slide, good block touch that time by Campbell. Haggerty's been a hot hand, instead going right side, easily dug into the cross court. Out of the back row, off the top of the tape, and Plummer registers her 18th kill. Remember, she had 26 in 3 sets against Minnesota on Thursday night.
Watch this swing by Plummer. It's going to go to our left. She's facing more to our right, but she hits this. We call that wrist away or thumb down. She has been fooling Wisconsin defenders all evening with that type of attack, facing one way, hitting another.
Nice swing by Haggerty. Boy, this is a tough, competitive kid. Remember, after she was Big Ten Freshman of the Year, she had to have back surgery, had a discectomy, and then blew out that disc again in April of what was her freshman year. She was either told to medically retire or try to rehab it. She rehabbed it, had to sit out her entire sophomore year, and now she's come back and she was second team all Big Ten.
Yeah, not many people come back from what she called that reherniation. And one of the things it added to her game, she didn't have a lot of power when she came back. So she had great hustle by Clark.
That's what we've seen from Clark all season long. That's more like it. Tight pass. Momentum possibly for Wisconsin. Not yet. Tied at 17. Rip into the cross court. Good heat that time by Adriana Fitzmaurice. What a play by Clark early in the point.
Yeah, we got to see that again. Love how she lays it out. And if you can't get 2 arms on it, get 1. But mostly you just get it up in the air. You don't even try to get it back in the court because you know you have teammates chasing.
Perfect pass. Retke ripping over the top. One-handed, left-handed bandit that time by Plummer. And McClure taking a very aggressive swing and misses that into the top of the tape. Tied at 18. Must win situation for Wisconsin, obviously.
McClure's thinking. Wisconsin, we've seen staying on the floor too much. McClure erring on the side of too aggressive. That's what's been working for Stanford and its transition offense all evening.
Stanford hitting percentage starting to creep down just a little bit. Another transition opportunity. Plummer. And that's just too much heat. That ball could not be controlled. I think that's Ashburn. Yeah, it's Ashburn in the backcourt, number 11 in red for Wisconsin, and Stanford back on top. You've got Plummer out of the backcourt, good lineup up front. And look at this, Kendall Kipp, one of the top freshmen in the country, whose playing time has been limited. A little more size in the front court now for McClure.
Yes, Wisconsin made a change, Paul, to try to get a better matchup. Dana Retke hitting on McClure, so a response from Coach Hambly with Stanford. Bring in a taller blocker, Kendall Kipp. At 6'5", the freshman, going against Retke.
And she has got a rocket of an arm. Immediately they go against Kipp. Wow. Got to get used to that speed. Dana Retke is a special player.
Yeah, Kipp was trying to commit, but you'll see her a little bobble here. She stops and had traveled too far wide. She was actually a little early trying to slow down Retke.
Retke hits over 400 on the season and even better than that in the tournament. Plummer again. And that ball, their side, the Wisconsin fans are very excited, but that ball was tucked down inside the Wisconsin block. Kill number 20 for number 2.
A rare time for Plummer where the block had a chance at it, but the blockers didn't get hands across before the ball hit them.
Well, Coach Sheffield said something at serve and pass this morning. He said, look, when we're blocking against Plummer, I don't want you going up. Don't try to reach up with Plummer. You reach over the net. You penetrate. Get over. Combination play. Not there. Good touch by McClure. And Gates again. Madeline Gates on the night is 8 of 15 with 1 error. She's made 1 error in the entire tournament and may be on pace to set a new all-time NCAA tournament record for efficiency. Timeout called by Wisconsin. Stanford is 4 points away from their 9th ever. And
Jenna Gray, a lot of credit, says her EQ, her emotional intelligence, is off the charts in terms of how she handles her various teammates with her leadership roles. But what a busy June she's going to have. She's going to have finals. She's going to graduate. She's going to have the NCAA track and field championships, the Olympic trials, a great javelin thrower, and very confident that the qualifying distance is within reach. So it's going to be a huge 2020 for her.
might have a very busy July as well, and might check to see if her passport is valid. Coming out of the timeout. Also part of that senior class, Caitlin and Michaela Keefe.
Yeah.
Come from one of the great sports families in the history of Stanford. Adam Keefe, All-American basketball player. Kristen Klein, one of the great players and an Olympian for the Stanford Cardinal. Nice play. Plummer off the block and not there. What a play. That's what this team has been all about. Morgan Hentz making impossible plays look easy.
Yeah, and as Plummer comes down from the kill, she turned and said, I could read her lips, she said, "That is so good." And it was a great up by Hentz.
And Morgan Hentz had to get the hell out of the way. Stanford looking to extend their lead. Timing not there, and the ball drops. Madeline Gates now 9 kills on 16 swings, and Stanford is 2 points away. Gates is 35 of 79 with 1 error. Nice play, right on cue. McClure, nobody there. Slam dunk. Oh, it was out of bounds. And Catherine Plummer said, we got a challenge. She's played a little internationally. That's the international sign for challenge. Get a look at some part of the ball on any part of the line, and now it is match points for the Stanford Cardinal. McClure to serve the first of 5 championship points. Hart finds a small seam, and the hopes are alive for the Badgers. Danielle Hart has had a nice match. We'll get you her numbers. Not a lot of opportunities. That's 6 kills on 17, no errors. Above 350. Match point number 2. Hilly's a good server. Plummer is available on the left side. Perfect pass. Gates for the championship. Stanford now stands head and shoulders above the rest.